They're here.
Oh my God.
We didn't even rehearse that, guys.
Wow, it just came out organically. Welcome to our podcast, Silent Screaming Resurrected.
We are your hosts. I'm Jordan Gradell.
I'm Patrick Hill, and this is an ASMR horror comedy podcast where we talk about some horror movies and get a little drunk.
We live, laugh, love horror movies here.
And then do a little whispering sometimes. Just a little bit. Just a touch.
Just a smidge.
Today, we're talking about the very recent movie. Just kidding. The
86.
82 classic Poltergeist. That is much lore and much things surrounding it.
We have a lot to talk about.
We have so
in
much
this
to talk
episode.
about. Oh my God. But first, what else have you been watching?
Well, Patrick, let me tell you about what I've been watching.
What?
Okay. I haven't been watching a lot, but and I also haven't been watching a lot of horror. But a couple of things
Disappointing.
I know. Life's just been cray, you know what I mean? It'd be like that sometimes. But you know what? I do want to talk about a couple things that I saw, and whether or not I recommend them or not. I saw Godzilla -1.
Oh, I've heard it was really good.
I have mixed feelings about it. Okay. I do like it. I did like it. It was good. Cinematically, it was great.
Oh, sorry.
Great special effects. They like humanized the people, like the storyline. Like it was more about the people and less about Godzilla.
I like that.
I did like it too. Like it was good. It was just different. Like it was a different type of Godzilla movie. So I recommend it. It was good. You can stream it for free. I think it's on Netflix.
Ooh.
I watched this documentary called The House in Between. It's like a documentary about a haunted house. So if you're into haunted houses and you like documentaries, you might like this. It's basically this house that was built by this woman back in I think it was built in the 90s. So it's not even that old. And she was experiencing all of this crazy stuff. She hired a group of investigators, and over the last 9 years, they've been like surveillancing her house and gathering data and using it in research and like trying to debunk stuff. And it's really interesting. A lot of it is like the science. It felt like a creepy Mythbusters.
Feels very appropriate for our subject matter today, too.
Yes. Wait, what are we talking about today? Oh, yes. I forgot. I forgot.
Poltergeist.
We watched Hitman last night with Glenn Powell. I thought there was gonna be more like death. I thought there was gonna be like
called Hitman.
Yeah, but it was more of a rom-com.
It just looked like one of those Hollywood movies, you know, from the trailers. Or like
yeah,
ones that are just
I thought there was gonna be more action, more comedy. It was more of a romance. I was like, what is this?
Romance.
Yeah, I'm not about it. I don't. Fun fact about me: I do not enjoy rom-coms. They always are the same.
Jordan's just like not a girl's girl.
I'm like not a girl's girl.
Like,
Actually, I am a girl's girl, and I think rom-coms encourage unrealistic expectations.
And heterosexuality, which is just on Pride Month. Really?
Come on, yeah, boo.
Don't do that.
My sister told me
Choose
this
gay.
When she was visiting recently. She was like, "Yeah, straight people are just boring." I'm like, first of all, you're not entirely wrong. I would like to think that I'm not boring. However, this isn't about that. And then today I actually watched a movie called Tunnel.
Oh.
Have you heard of Tunnel? Me either. I was on Shudder. I was like, I want to watch something creepy because I haven't really watched anything kind of creepy in a while. And it actually was like, it kind of reminded me of like a knockoff Cloverfield.
Oh.
It was one of those like POV found footage documentary style type films. It was okay. It was fine. So I don't feel like I've really like found like a diamond in the rough recently.
Well, I did, and I recommended it to you, and clearly you still didn't watch it.
What is it?
Infested.
I don't remember you saying that.
It is a spider horror movie that came out this year on Shudder, I believe.
Okay, I just added it to my list.
I think I texted you about it because I watched it. It's a French horror movie.
That's right, you did. And I was like, ugh.
It was on
subtitles.
Shudder. It was on Shudder. Pretty sure it was on Shudder. And I watched it thinking it was going to be like a lame ass creature feature, and it was very good.
Oh, okay.
I really liked it.
Okay.
I looked on Rotten Tomatoes, and it is the second highest rated horror movie this year.
Wow. Okay.
Behind
Infested.
What was the other one? Behind I already forgot what the first rated one. Oh, Late Night with the Devil was the top rated one.
We haven't really gotten like a good one for 2024.
I have some high hopes for some of these coming out, but we'll see. We shall see.
We shall see.
But I really liked Infested. It made me itchy. It made me afraid of spiders all over again.
That sucks because I have a lot of spiders outside of my house right now. There's webs everywhere.
This movie had some moments where I was like,
okay, I need to watch it. But maybe after I get rid of the webs.
That's probably a good idea.
Because we cleaned out the webs not even a week ago, and they're already back.
I love how this clown nose is like anywhere but on your nose.
It's because I can't breathe with it on. It's like, I feel like I'm like suffocating with it on. Oh, maybe we're like this. Oh, it doesn't close that way.
Do you want to take a shot?
I mean, no, but that's kind of what we do here. If you're new here, hi. We take shots.
We do this for you.
I have a little snack here, a little ASMR while you're teeing up the shots. I got a little rice cake.
So you're about to do some mukbang?
Rice cake.
That actually sounds nice. I didn't like that. I thought I would.
Rice cakes taste just like I remember them. Where is mine?
Like nothing. They taste like nothing.
No. To Friendship Fellowship, Poltergeist, and Static TVs.
Yes.
And
to Heather
O'Donnell.
Is
that how I say it?
May she rest in peace. She's been arrested for a
R.I.P.
while.
And the other girl.
And the other sister. And someone from the second one.
There's a lot, y'all. There's a lot. There's too many more. I'm going to take it this time.
I forgot to pick that bone with you.
What? Oh.
If you... I saw it. You're not slick.
I thought I drank a lot more than it was.
Did I? I finished mine.
Yeah,
well,
you're brave. You're a brave person.
Yeah, on one of the last recordings, I did not know until I watched it in editing that Jordan fully faked taking a shot.
I think I sipped a little bit.
No, your mouth did not touch that cup. You went, cheers, and then I turned to take mine, you went.
It's called acting, baby. Got a degree in it.
And then you went. You like faked the cough and everything. So fucking rude.
Or brilliant. This is now a mukbang, by the way. As I get my rice cake. I just don't want to vomit, you know?
I get it. I get not wanting to vomit.
I need just like a little something to absorb the acid. Okay.
Well, do you want to take a little breaky?
We'll take a little break, and when we come back, we're going to talk all things Poltergeist. Stay tuned.
And we're back
We are
to
back.
talk about the hit movie.
Yep.
Poltergeist.
Oh, we should have had a guest, and then we're like, this is our poltergeist. No?
Oh my God, welcoming our poltergeist.
Welcome to our poltergeist. Well, today we're talking about Poltergeist. I almost forgot again what we were talking about. Jesus.
We just said it like a million times.
I know. Gosh. My memory lately has been really bad. Like, I might have a brain tumor. Do you think?
I don't think you have a brain tumor.
Maybe it's my ADHD. That's the thing. It's like you go online, you're like, what does it mean when you can't remember anything? It's like,
They're like terminal illness.
Yeah, it's like you're either about to die or it's ADHD. I think we all have ADHD.
We definitely both have ADHD.
Yeah. Speaking of ADHD, back on track. We're talking about Poltergeist.
Yes. What were you? Well,
What are your initial
tell me
thoughts?
about when you first. Do you remember when you first saw this movie?
I don't know if I remember like the exact age I was when I first saw it, but I do remember seeing it at a young age.
I don't think I saw it till college.
You didn't see it till college?
Mm-hmm.
I probably saw it at least by the time I was in middle school. Because my mom would like record on a VHS anytime it was on cable. And then, of course, you'd have to like fast forward through the commercials. But I would always watch stuff like that. And like even, was it Rose Red? That we did. And
Rose
then,
Red.
do you remember the movie Langoliers?
I don't think I ever saw Langoliers.
It was one of those like 2 or 3 part movies on cable. But anyway, oh my God, I ate that rice cake really fast. I probably was at least in middle school, maybe junior high at the latest, but I'm pretty sure it was younger than that. And I loved it. Like it's always a classic. And it's not one of those like, to me, it doesn't really get really intense until the very end.
Mm-hmm.
But I love a good haunted house. I love a good haunted house movie.
I just love a good 80s horror movie.
They just don't make them like that anymore.
They just had this whimsy that we don't really have anymore.
It's this, yeah, no, I agree. And I just feel like all the characters in this movie are just chef's kiss, like the little girl, and then even like the I don't even know what her official title is, but the one that talks like this.
Oh, the like psych or
like
the medium.
Mm-hmm. Her character's great. The parents' characters, I just feel like all the characters I genuinely cared about, and that's the beef I have with current horror movies is they put characters in it because they need to put people in this
and
movie.
you like don't give a shit about them.
But I'm like, I don't care if they die because there's no like dynamic to this person. I don't care about them.
Yeah, her name was Tangina or Tangina
In the movie? Okay.
I just remember giggling every time they say it in.
I think it is Gina.
Because I did the extra credit because I'm like a gifted and talented
brown noser.
Okay. Yeah. For who? For whom?
For the fans.
For you. For you. I watched Poltergeist 1, 2, and 3, and I watched the remake.
I did like the remake.
The remake, I missed it. It came out when we were in college.
Yeah.
And I never saw it until this, like when I watched it for this.
I'm pretty sure it was like shot by shot. Like it was
I mean, it was a little different. There were some things that were different.
Like what?
Like there was, okay, so first off, there was terrible CGI in it.
I don't remember that.
Which, I mean, the original also has terrible CGI, but it's like terrible fun. You know, like the weird lights and stuff that like clearly are like in some old version of whatever editing program.
Yeah.
But this one had a whole sequences where it shows like camera footage of behind the once you go into the closet or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it shows like all of the like dead people like reaching out and stuff from the walls. And it's just like it looks like a really bad video game. Is bad.
Yeah, but I also think we in our minds are like, oh, it's the 80s. Like we're more forgiving.
Yeah.
Whereas now our standards are very high when it comes to like CGI, AI, any type of like digital.
This was just very much like 2014, 15 CGI where it was like clearly they didn't have a super high budget, but they tried. But it had some really fun elements. The remake did some things, I think, in an interesting way that they didn't do with the OG.
Like put real dead bodies in the pool.
Well, they didn't do that in the new one for sure, because like law.
See, I'm telling you, they don't make them like they used to. Bring back the stakes.
The
higher
actor
them.
torture. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Bring back the abuse on set.
Jordan, you heard it here first.
Yeah,
folks.
sorry,
Jordan
that was
is
a
an
joke.
Abuse advocate. That's what I'm looking for.
I just feel like that's when like the best work comes out. Take The Shining, for example. Like the list goes on and on. But I watched it recently last summer when we were in Corpus Christi. It was on TV.
Mm-hmm.
That was the last time I watched it. And even then I was like, wow, like this is still like it holds up. It's still a really fun movie. And even though I've seen it at least 5 times,
Mm-hmm.
I still I'm like, oh, what's gonna happen? I mean, I know what happens, but like, it's kind of like the Titanic. Like when you watch it, you're like, maybe this time the boat won't sink.
Yeah. You're like, oh my God, what's going to happen to little girl?
The little girl, is he gonna fit on the door?
New things in the remake. One, it's obviously modernized, like it's happening in contemporary time.
Mm-hmm.
And the medium woman is replaced by a man who is like a paranormal investigator who has a TV show.
Yeah.
Where his catchphrase is, "This house is clean." And the other difference is instead of the mom going into the nether realm to save her daughter, the little brother does.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. But I feel overall though, like I think a lot of times
very similar.
Yeah. Because a lot of times when people remake horror movies, I feel like it's either shot for shot or it's so different. It feels like a totally different movie, really, other than like I don't know. I don't really know what I'm trying to say because we took a shot and I've only eaten an egg today and that rice cake. But
one egg.
I had an egg bite. You wanted me to drink. Back to Poltergeist. I feel like, in my opinion, I don't think it deserved. I think on IMDb it got like a 4.2.
The remake?
On IMDb, yes. I don't think it deserved that low. I kind of liked the balance of like, what's the point of remaking it if you're not going to like add something new to it? But also, like, the people that are going to watch it, they are going to watch it because they liked the original. So to me, I liked the blend of keep paying homage to the original, but like mixing it up a little bit.
Yeah, I do think that the one thing that was really different about this one is that I didn't, and in a bad way, I didn't love the characters as much as I loved the characters in the original. Like, I didn't feel for them in the same way, and I don't know what they did to accomplish that in the original movie.
Did I make this up, or did Steven Spielberg direct it?
The new one?
The old one.
He produced it.
Oh, produced it. But I think he had a hand on it. I just feel like Steven Spielberg has like this magic touch, whether he's a writer, producer, director, actor. I just feel like he has this way of just making it.
He wrote it also.
It's like a special sauce, right? Like he has the secret ingredient, the herbs and spices like KFC. You know what I mean? Like he's got that special.
Just got that je ne sais quoi.
The je ne sais quoi.
You know?
Creme de la creme.
Stephen King, you got that je ne sais quoi? No, not Stephen King. I'm drunk too. Steven Spielberg.
It's something about the Stevens. Stevens really a do.
No, Stephen King has some misses.
But he's iconic.
He's iconic.
He's hashtag iconic. Sorry, I totally interrupted you. Continue with your thoughts.
I was just going to say, I was really invested in the lore of this movie, too.
We got to get into the lore.
Because there's a poltergeist cursed theory. Because of, I don't know, my guess, if there is a curse, it's about the dead bodies.
100% it's about the dead bodies.
Because, like, what else would it be? But do you know the curse? So one of the reasons I watched the other two movies in the trilogy is because I was so curious about the curse beyond the first movie, because not only did two actors or so the older sister, who was never mentioned in the second or third movie, out of respect for her, they just pretended like her character did not exist in the first movie, which is kind of a weird choice, but whatever, different time. She was murdered after this movie came out.
By her boyfriend. That's actually such a sad story. And actually, I don't feel like her and her family really got justice, because I like read up on this like whole court case about a year ago when we were watching it.
4 years in jail.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
For overt murder. Insane.
Continue. But like the whole story of that is like actually really fucked up, and it has a lot to do with domestic violence and stalking and harassment, and it really is just sad because she was like on the brink of her big break.
Yeah, she would probably had a huge career.
She would have. She was either in the process of auditioning, or no, she got this role in she was a leading role in a film, and she was rehearsing lines with her co-star, and her boyfriend / ex-boyfriend, I think it was a tumultuous relationship. He got jealous. And ultimately, I think that's what fueled the fire there. But,
okay, so she was murdered. I think she was the first death.
Okay.
And then one of not the main woman, not Tangina, but remember the other woman who was there, who invited Tangina in, she had 2 paranormal investigator partners with her. One of those guys he survived, but he was in a plane crash shortly after the movie came out.
Okay.
Where a ton of people died. He survived. He was injured.
He survived
badly,
a plane
but
crash?
he survived a plane crash.
Yikes.
And then in the second movie, one of the main characters is his character is called a medicine man. He's an indigenous man who helps them because there's a whole nother. Have you seen the second or third one?
It's been a long time, so not recently. But...
So they add a whole new layer to it where it's not just a cemetery is underneath their house. There was also like a cult from the 1800s that like entombed themselves on that land because they thought the apocalypse was coming. And like their leader is this evil man who basically still walks the earth with a demon. Like he's a demon now somehow because he convinced all these people to sacrifice themselves for him. Interesting plot. But the medicine man died shortly after the movie came out. I think within a year after the second one came out from a failed surgery. I think he had a heart and lung transplant and he died in surgery or complications from the surgery. And then Heather O'Donnell.
O'Rourke. Neither of us were right.
Heather O'Rourke. She died during the filming of the third movie. She did not finish her work. They use a body double at the end of the movie. She died because they misdiagnosed her as having something else. I don't remember what it specifically was. And whatever medication she was on, if you see the third movie, she doesn't look like she's gained weight. She just looks like she's really bloated in her face. Mm-hmm. And it was a side effect from whatever medication they had her on accidentally. And it ended up killing her because she was misdiagnosed. And I think her family even sued the hospital.
Didn't she have a brain tumor?
Something.
Cancer of some
It was
sort?
Something terminal that ended up killing her before this movie came out. Which was the most unsettling for me because in the second one, obviously all of these movies are about mortality and like death. But the second one, there's this whole scene between her and this woman who plays her grandmother in the second movie where she talks about where she talks about like growing old and her character is literally like, I don't think I'm gonna grow old. Like has this whole moment where she's like, I don't think I'm gonna live for very long.
That's sad.
And it's like super scary to watch or super unsettling to see that, knowing that she didn't in real life live for very long. And every movie is basically these ghosts trying to pull her into the afterlife, and it like worked. They did it. That is
so creepy.
They did it in the third movie during the filming, and but I honestly enjoyed watching all 3 of them. 2 and 3 are ridiculous. 3 especially takes place in Chicago in Hancock Center. I don't know if you've been there before. It's like the tallest building in Chicago. It's a really fun building. It's right in the smack dab.
I love fun buildings.
Right in the heart of the smack of the dab of Chicago. And it was a fun movie, but it was silly. The villain who comes in the second movie, though, is the old man who is the cult leader. I think he is so terrifying. I think he's one of the scariest, like, old movie villains I've seen.
Okay.
He's just spooky. Old people are scary to me, though. That's probably why. It's a prejudice against the elderlies or something.
That's ageist. Patrick.
I'm going to get canceled now.
Hashtag canceled.
But all that to say, I think all 3 of them very much cement themselves as Jordan hates when I call things classics, but they're classic.
Cult classic specifically.
The second and third one has especially the second one has some of the most egregiously awful CG, but because it's the 80s and it's like that era of like magical bullshit, it's still fun to watch.
Okay, so that kind of begs the question. Some of these modern horror movies that use shitty CGI, do you think that people in like 30 years are going to look back and be like, wow, that was so fun?
Maybe. Part of me thinks the reason why, and maybe to them it will feel super unrealistic, but part of me, the reason why it doesn't have the same ring to it is because it feels like it's really close to what it would look like if it were real, but just like fully missing the mark. With like 80s stuff, they did like silly editing. Like there's this scene of them like in the ether where they're just like floating through this like swirly purple haze and they're literally like, whoa. And it's like so silly.
It kind of reminds me, we rewatched the original, is it Charlie and the Chocolate? No, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I get the titles confused because of the book versus the movie. But we rewatched it, and that scene where Mike TV shrinks, it's kind of like the same thing. It's like, wow, that was so fun and so original for its time.
I would love them to remake Willy Wonka again, but as a horror, like a straight up horror movie this time.
Ooh, yeah. And then we'll slow it down and be like, oompa, oompa, do body, do. And then it's like, wee. But we can't do that because that's copywriting for Psycho. But it would have like people going through this like candy machine getting like squashed in half, and or like going into this big chocolate tunnel and they just explode because the pressure. They're like,
I don't think the recording got it. Can you do that slow-mo version of the Oompa Loompa song again?
Yeah. So it's the Oompa Loompa song. If you haven't ever heard of it, go look it up.
It's a really obscure niche song. I don't know if
but
you've
it's
heard
slowed down and it's in like a low tone demonic voice where it's almost like tritoned. So it's like Oompa, and then maybe it's like a flash of like a scene really quick. Oompa, another scene. Do body, do, and then it's like dun 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 dun. And then, or it's come with me and you'll be in a world. And then it's just like,
I don't think I've heard this song before.
and then it goes, oh, it's in the movie Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. It stars Gene Wilder.
I knew you forgot his last name.
I know. I was going to say Glenn Powell because we were just talking about him.
Gene Powell.
Glenn Wilder. Anyway, I agree. I see your vision. I share it. It's like the folie du. What's that one where you share the same hallucination? Folie de deux. Folie of deux. Folie of deux. I think it's folie of deux.
It's what the name of Joker number 2 is.
Folie of deux?
Or something like that. Folie du.
It's like a hallucination. Shared by two people.
We're too drunk.
Well, you wanted this.
Back on
Sorry.
Poltergeist.
Today we're talking about Poltergeist.
Yeah, what else did you think about it?
Skirt. Okay. I did see this on IMDb, and I thought this was like actually crazy, and it's a full circle moment because it goes into like the actor abusiveness. But Heather O'Rourke, the little girl, in the scene where she's getting put. Did you see this? Where she's getting pulled into the closet. They used like real fans to like blow her into the air.
And she like cried.
That is crazy. That's crazy. That is crazy. She could have died just from doing that. Like, that is insane to me.
Would have been a wilder way to go.
A Gene Wilder way to go.
It's a callback. I also think that the mom in this movie is so talented.
Oh, yeah.
She's a very talented actress. Which I think, not to say that the mom in the remake isn't talented, I just didn't love her as much as this mom.
No, but I'm with you there. And for some reason, I cannot think of what the dad looks like in my mind. When I think of Poltergeist, I think of Chevy Chase.
It's Craig T. Nelson.
Do they look the same?
They're very similar looking.
Let me look.
Craig T. Nelson, have you ever watched the show
I see him.
Parenthood?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
He's the grandpa.
Yeah. Okay. No, I see it. Interesting.
Oh my God, there's a line in the sequel that I was like, Craig T. Nelson, you're gonna get canceled.
What do you say?
So like their house gets sucked into a hole in the first one, and into the void or whatever. And the son in the second one, they live at grandma's house, and he's like, I really want to get a TV, and dad's like, we're not getting a TV, and he's like, I don't want to end up like one of those, and he says the R word, like one of those R's. And Craig Nelson is like, oh, you don't end up like an R word because of not watching TV. And it's like, oh, Jesus.
What? Okay, well, that's
Hindsight.
y'all don't say the R word. It's offensive and like so. Yesterday.
So I guess 1980, whatever, the second one came out.
Wow, times were different.
But the third one is fun. None of the original actors except for Heather O'Donnell come back for the third one because it's set in she goes to live with her aunt and uncle. And I think it's partially because, I mean, Craig T. Nelson was offered a role in it and he said, I'm good. 2 was enough. But then I also read that he was considering coming back. They were talking about a 4th. But then they didn't end up doing it because Heather O'Donnell died.
That's so sad, though. That really breaks my heart.
And it's really depressing watching the end of that movie knowing that she died because she filmed all of her scenes basically up until she gets rescued from like the other side. So she literally like died while her character was in the afterlife.
She herself never made it out, if you think of it that way. That's really sad.
Because they carry her out and they're like holding her, but it's a body double and you just never see her face. She just has her head over her shoulder. And I remember being like, this is weird. Like, she's the main character. Why are we not seeing her? Oh, that's right. She's dead.
It's so interesting to watch movies knowing that that character or that person is no longer alive. Same thing with The Crow. Same thing with The Dark Knight.
It's weird watching when they died during.
Yeah, it's very ominous.
I know that Tangina has also died, but she died in the 2000s. The 2000s.
She died in the modern era.
She lived a long, good life, and mom and dad are still around. Mom and dad are still alive. The son, I don't think acts anymore, but he's also still alive.
So Tangina died.
09?
Well, her real name is Zelda, which is a far more badass name. She died in 2010.
Oh, 10. Yeah.
Age 76.
She lived some good years.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I'd like to go in like maybe my 80s, upper 80s.
She almost got there.
Yeah, it depends. It depends on what's going on. But
who knows with this planet? Well, who knows?
I was on a plane. It's probably bad, but I was on a plane coming back from Mexico, and I was like, honestly,
you're like, I can go now.
I was like, if the plane crashed, I'd be fine. Like I would be happy with how things ended.
Ending after leaving a resort sounds
I was like at peace mentally, physically, emotionally,
psychologically,
philosophically. I was like, I feel like there are things I still would like to accomplish in this life, but like overall, I'm good.
You're like, I'm good.
And anything else that you'd like to do?
And if you die before this episode comes out, it's gonna be really ominous.
Well, fuck, you just fucking jinxed me. I'm gonna die tonight.
No, don't say that. You jinxed yourself even earlier.
Well, I told Mason this the other day. I was like, if I died tonight, that just means I wouldn't have to go to work tomorrow.
Oof. Ain't that the truth?
Like, score, dab.
Oh my gosh. Well, if you
like this episode, please rate, review, and subscribe.
You can also follow us if you like us, if you think we're cute, on Instagram and TikTok at Silent Screaming Podcast. And you can also email us at
silentscreaming@gmail.com. I'm fairly certain that that's the email.
Don't talk to the demons in your TV.
And maybe next time you're in a swimming pool, just think about, are there any dead bodies in here? I don't know. Maybe.
They might be. You never know. This might be a real dead body. You never know.
We'll never tell.
Don't drink it podcast.
Bye.